Ready to love. She's a financial and wellness coach dedicated to improving the lives of others through her credit and financial management firm, Real Freedom with Love. Mia, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I am doing amazing. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic,
Wonderful.
making it work every day.
Definitely.
So I read that you're a holistic mindset strategist, educator, and entrepreneur. What inspired your affinity for helping others?
I realize, and thank you for that. Yes, that's definitely what encompasses me. But I realize that as people of color or people of the global majority, Black and brown individuals in the world at large, we need to be better about self-care. And I realized taking it home, I needed to be better about self-care. And so I give a lot of advice, but I wasn't always taking my own advice. So I needed to move into a position where I was able to not only incorporate what I do for myself, but also put it in a position and make it digestible for others.
Awesome. Before the world was impacted by COVID-19, a lot of people were struggling financially. Like, this isn't like a new idea. But as a mindset strategist, how do you encourage people to develop positive relationships with money?
First I figure out why their relationship with money is negative. I figure out where those habits and where these ideals and myths and things like that came from. A lot of us had like trauma associated with money as children. Our parents would say, if you say, do you want to go to McDonald's? They say, well, do you have any McDonald's money? And that creates that negative association, or talking about bills in a way that made you feel like you were in a sense of lack or that you didn't have that. So I try to figure out where those triggers or bad habits came from, or just unhealthy habits. Sometimes it's that you didn't always have the money to get what you wanted. So when you get in a position where your money is good, then you're starting to spend it irresponsibly because you're like, I deserve that bag. I deserve those shoes. I deserve those red bottoms, whatever it is. So trying to figure out how to get back to that. And I incorporate a lot of holistic practices like Reiki and energetic healing to try to figure out how to reverse those things, balance your chakras, and make sure that you're in a good place.
I would be curious to know, for you personally, how was your relationship with money growing up?
My relationship with money, my parents didn't talk about not having money, but I knew in a household of 8 children, being the youngest of 8, that there were some things that we needed to overcome. They always made the best of what we had, and they didn't give us that negative association with it, but I still feel like they didn't talk enough about the investments that they were making. And that part of the sacrifice was because no matter how much we didn't have it, they still made it a point to pour into their 401k and 403, so that now they're able to be retired and enjoy that. I knew that something was happening, but I wish we were at the table when they were making those benefit elections and deciding where that money went. So it was a relationship where I knew that money wasn't something that created happiness, because we had a really fun house. As long as you had a radio, and some batteries, then we were good to go. But I wish that we had been more involved in the process.
I completely understand. And then do you carry that? I don't know if you have children or a family now, but do you, make sure that you instill those types of values that maybe you were excluded from as a child?
Absolutely. Since my daughter was young, I took her into the bank to make deposits. She knew how to fill out a deposit slip. She knew what was going on with the money that was going into the bank. I would have her sit down at the table. She could have her coloring book, but while I'm paying bills, I'm like, you see this? This is why I'm telling you to turn the lights on. There's way too many numbers before the decimal point on this. So I definitely involved her in the process. And she was at a young age would say, oh, we're going to Target. This is the red card. And I'm like, okay, listen. This is the card for Target, but we are not using the card today because we are using cash, and here's the reason why. So she probably got a little bit more than she wanted, but I really wanted her to respect money and not be one of those kids that thought, and this is going to date me, that as long as you have checks, you have money. And I've explained that they didn't teach us that in school. They said, oh, here's how you write a check, but they didn't tell us that if you write the checks without the money in the bank, you could go to jail.
Mm-hmm. They don't spend enough. Still don't spend enough time telling you that when they give you those checks at the bank. They still don't. There still is a lack of education. So I do like to hear that as a parent, you were like, I'm going to educate my child. And, I hope that encourages parents out there to do the same for their children, no matter how young they are.
Absolutely.
So, financial woes have been known to cause stress and anxiety for the best of us. How can those feelings affect our overall health and wellness, in your opinion?
You know, in a huge way. Not only is finance one of the major causes of divorce, it's also one of the major causes of physical illness. Because when you're feeling like, you know, people say that money isn't everything and money doesn't grow on trees, but I can tell you that not having it makes it a little bit harder to breathe, you know, when you're trying to take care of things. And so a lot of times we internalize areas of lack and lack of money and things like that, and it begins to cause physical stress. If you have a pile of bills sitting there and you know you don't have the money to pay them, the first thing that happens is you get a headache, right? Because you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with these bills. You check your credit score and it's not where you want it to be. You start to feel anxiety in your chest. And that's actually led to people having heart attacks and other things like that. So it definitely impacts your physical health. It restricts you from being able to go and exercise because you're so stressed out about it. You feel a sense of lethargicness, and then you don't want to get up and move your body the way that you should. And a lot of people feel like buying cheaper food has to be fast food when you can get inexpensive, healthy options. But a lot of times people get swayed by the $59, $79, $99 menu at your favorite fast food restaurant. And then you're actually clogging your arteries and things like that.
So coupled with the poor diets on top of the anxiety and the stress, it's not good at all.
Absolutely.
And I would like to implore people to take your advice because, I know we're in the wake of COVID, and, you know, it's a really challenging time financially, health-wise, et cetera, for people. But I like that you're encouraging people to take initiatives to be better, to live healthier lives, and be a lot more financially sound.
Definitely. And it doesn't have to be expensive. You know, these are things that you can do at home. There are so many free videos to get up and get you moving and things like that. So just taking the stairs, park your car a little bit further away. I know a lot of areas are closed, but if you do have to go to the store, and weather permitting, park a little further away and take those extra steps to get where you're going.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for being my special guest today. If anyone is interested in acquiring your services, what's the best way to connect with you?
Definitely. They can connect with me on Instagram at Original Mia Love. My title, I also have an Instagram, Real Freedom with Love, and that website is launching momentarily. So realfreedomwithlove.com is another place that you can find me. I was formerly known as the Good Credit Diva, but I felt like that was one dimensional and needed to bring in all the other things that I love. So you can definitely find me on Real Freedom with Love.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to share this video with you and my audience, and you have a Merry Christmas.
You do the same.
Okay, bye-bye.